Okay, we're back. We're going to have a look at, I mean, you guys are busy people, you've come all this way, so we'll start off with some light entertainment. First thing, and I'll talk through this as I'm getting you to this website. Let's have a quick look at YouTube. So we go to YouTube. You, you must forgive me, youtube.com. Now, we'd like you to have some fun as well. So we have this video with a serious message. Remember, our videos are under, when you get to the YouTube box, you do the Opateku. That's one word. And you click enter. And you can see you've got the family link videos there. You've got structuring and you've got regulatory oversight. I'm going to start with the regulatory oversight simply because most Ghanaians, when they meet another Ghanaian, think is their long lost brother, Unia Ghanini. And so you see somebody you've never met before, but he looks familiar. You probably think you've met him at a funeral, and so he's your akunta. And here's one of those situations where the manager of Family Link sees his long lost akunta, or so he thinks. So we'll just let you watch this one.
Hello, part of me, Dean and Osman, me, Edmond Harris, and Ghana for money transfer, Omojman, a Basasaka, me call up against a sending away Mrs. That's it. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. I thought we could just come here for $10,000 per legal fee. Okay.
Yes, I'll be here.
Good afternoon, sir.
Oh!
I am here.
Oh, you want it?
I'm going to say.
Oh, why? Why was that on my page? I have an.
Oh, what do you mean? Service cat a coffee. Insurance be a big.
Oh, the message.
So we didn't 10,000 coffee.
Oh, 10.
10
day and you be here, but I would 10 day in your problem. 10 day and Abrofun and say Abrofo eyes for 10,000. One per se, if you want to be the city, but then I mean, say 1 10 and your problem. Because never here 10, but young Chimuman one. In the event, a bet 10,000, and you have me do team by about not a fee, major sucrame deny about, not fee, if you are trying to pass through and the 2000, and I did, Mamma Contamin, and I said, oh, no problem. Now, what kind of time cry? Wait and think, yeah, touch a chim grass, who pass out there because one of our own person could be a base cat a cry and they call Ghana.
I don't know Joe. You call what you know, as well as catch a bar.
Well, say 3,000, there was a do social security, but then I knew. Oh, then the men's men 2,000. Okay. Now they are German says to be 2,000. And so, I could have had a whole I know. Oh, there and to be the Akusia shooting by 2,000. And then you found out what you thought you would. Yes, I know. I brought all my high come to so many actors. But one woman say, Ghana for your pity or more cry. No, oh, yes, no problem. Munchicha woman and Amama. Yo, that's the people that's the power. Oh, no, one better. Hey, Ghana for you, he said, maybe a bishop, yeah, only so. I guess I'm ready. But you be my son, yes, yeah, Juma. For 10,000 echo. Not for why deep. Social. You're 20 from some mom. Somebody day, over problem. Over problem, pa. I mean, me at more Iris. Let me know who's over problem. No, I'm here. That's all man. Stretch out when you're my aunt. Eh, a friend, your crow. When we agency now, you better run home up. You better call me out of a common sacrifice. It must be papa. Why are they? No more tree. Bye bye.
Okay, I mean, let me thank Kokubachi and Nana Menu for that. That was fantastic play acting. But we'll come back to where we were. Now, this looks very funny, but it's not funny at all. And I'm going to show you a few things. Well, let's go back. Okay, so we had our file. If you remember, we had our file which was called Onipa. Okay, now we looked at the data, and the data we sorted everything by remitter. So we sort of figured out who's sending the largest amounts, and so then we said the IRS will ask you, what does this person do for a living? Now, the one that is interesting is that most people think you cannot tell, you know, you cannot analyze the people who are in Ghana. And I'm just going to show you something interesting. When we look at this data, let me just highlight all this data. And then we'll say insert pivot tables. Remember our good old pivot tables. Now, when we did it before, we said remitter. If you remember, look at this. I'm going to hold for a moment. And I dropped remitter here. And immediately it gave us all the remitters. And then I said source amount, which I put here. So you look at the bottom, and it showed us all this. And then if you remember, I double clicked, and then I said sum. And okay. So that was all your remitters. Now I'm going to do it slightly differently. This time I'm not going to bother with remitters. I'm not going to start with the sum. But let's think about the people in Ghana. Who are the people who are receiving money from us in America? Who are these people? So what we're going to do is we look at beneficiary here. And we're doing it slightly different. I'm just showing you how IRS can tell who's structuring. The first thing we want to do is we pull beneficiary here. Now, see, now we've got a different set of names on the left. These are all the people in Ghana who are receiving money. Not the people in America, the people in Ghana. Now, let's just look at source amount here. I'm going to drag it here. And now, these are the number of times these people in Ghana have received money. We can double click this again, count of source amount, and change it to sum. And then click OK. So now we know Frank Chumesi in Ghana received $1,000. Moses Adu received $93. Abba Kakraba received $795. Abdullah Shaibu received all this. Now, if an IRS person was to think to themselves, wonder who in Ghana received the highest amount of money, we could sort it like so. Highlight all of it to the very end. Please bear with me for a little bit. Yes, so we've got a little bit more to go. Okay. Then I'll show you what sort of questions could be asked. So now let's say these are the people in Ghana receiving money. So we're going to sort in descending order. But you see this time is beneficiary. Source amount. So the person in Ghana who received the most money was Samuel Kwejo Amponsa, followed by Blessing Ewua. Now, the next question, which is interesting, is who are the people sending Samuel Kwejo Amponsa money? Who are the people sending Blessing Ewua money? Who are the people sending Esther Achampong money? So what we could do is we could look here and say remitter, and then drag remitter here. And immediately now we can tell Augustine Asiedu is sending Kwadwo Amponsah money. Comfort Adu Asiedu is sending Samuel Kwadwo Amponsah money. Moses Yao Asiedu is sending Kwadwo Amponsah money. Now the reason I'm laughing, you see, is because let's look at the first one. Augustine Asiedu, Comfort Asiedu. If it becomes obvious that every time Augustine Asiedu comes in, Comfort Asiedu comes in, or every time Comfort Asiedu comes in, Moses Yao Asiedu comes in, then it becomes obvious that you're structuring. So let me show you what we could do. We're curious. We say, when does Augustine Asiedu come in? When does Comfort Asiedu come in? When does Moses Yao Asiedu come in? And I'm going to show you. If we now say time, creation date and time, so we'll stick that underneath here. So you see, when we look, in terms of Samuel Kwadwo Amponsah, who lives in Ghana, receiving money from Augustine Asiedu. Augustine Asiedu came in on this date and on this time. But Comfort Asiedu came in on these dates and at these times. And then Moses Yao Asiedu came in on these dates and at these times. Let us look at a typical example. Okay, so I'm going to use red. Look at this one. 4/6, Augustine Asiedu came in at 15:50, 15:20, and sent $1,000 to Samuel Kwadwo Amponsah in Ghana. Look at this one, on 4/6. But you see here, 4/6, on the same day, at 2:54, that is 26 minutes before this guy, Comfort Asiedu, came and sent $1,000. All of them sent that to Samuel Kwadwo Amponsah. You must be kidding me. Samuel, Augustine Asiedu, and Comfort Asiedu have to be one and the same person. Unless Augustine Asiedu and Comfort Asiedu travel together. Let me give you another example. I'm going to change the pen color to maybe say this color. Let us look at 2:10. 2:10. At 12:46, Comfort Asiedu comes in, sends 1,000. But you see, if you look here, 2:10. Look at the time. It's 4 minutes apart. Moses Yao Asiedu comes in and sends 1,000. All of them to Samuel Kwadwo Amponsah. Now, I mean, it's an extraordinary story, but it is not impossible. Now, let me show you another example. We'll use maybe blue. See, look here. 7:13, Comfort Asiedu comes in at 19:13 and sends 1,000. But 7:13, Moses Yao Asiedu comes in 19:15. That is 2 minutes later, and sends 1,000. You would be insulting the intelligence of a typical IRS person if you were to suggest that this is anything other than structuring. This is structuring, and this is how we see structuring, and this is how the IRS sees structuring. Now, the only difference is that the IRS are not likely to bring you this spreadsheet. So all I can say to you is please don't make an effort to hide these things because you're not as clever as you think you're being. The level of automation, I mean, this takes seconds to see. I'm going to close this off. Let me just see whether I can. Okay. Let me see whether I can do this. Okay. Now, I'm going to scroll down. If I look at Esther Achampong here, who's receiving money from Charles Afriyie and Joyce Kuting and Patience Edujemfi, there is really no problem. As I look at the dates and times, there is no problem at all. If I go further down, Yao Aferi is only receiving money from Frimpong Edujemfi. There is no problem. But you see, Randolph Aqua receiving money from Gloria Asiedu and John Asiedu. If I look at 619, there are no issues here. Now, let me just have a quick look. John Owusu receiving money from James Ofori and Janet Tonto. There are no issues. Now here, Elizabeth Edusei is receiving money from Akua Boateng and then receiving money from Akua Boateng. If you look at the spellings of the Akua Boateng, they're different. But you see, if you actually look at the dates, you realize that Akua Boateng is actually in error twice, because this is not an attempt to change spellings so as to hide remittances. Otherwise, some of the dates here would be the same dates here, but that is not the case. I want you to look at that carefully. 37. If, for instance, 37 was here and 37 was here, it would be obvious that somebody is structuring. This is what I am trying to get people to understand. Okay, we'll go down a little bit. Eva Okine is receiving money from Sarah Okine. There are no problems. Frank Appiah Kubi is receiving money from James Appiah Kubi and James Appiah Kubi here. James Appiah Kubi should not, but is in twice, but there are no issues. Here, Kwekuchiri is receiving money from James Ofori and Johnson Anto. See, this is 211, but there's no 211 here, so there is no problem. And so on and so forth. Anyway, so this is how we are able to see the structuring. Now, this is how the IRS do it, and this is how we do it. And the reason why this happens is because of the next video I'm going to show you. And please take this seriously because it is very easy to see. And when we finish watching this video, I'm going to show you an example of somebody whose transactions are so structured that really I would imagine that they would be arrested when they have an audit.
Opening Patra Honey is coming. Na, Medino, at the Nana Quabracaf. Na, set me 3,000 with the choir saying. Ah, 60. Not Patra 1,000 with the choir saying. 50. And it, Miss Rawa, Chichimumman, 1,000, Woka, me, I drum in the bear back. Now, me, the Miss Meeting, I have back. So, what crowd hit me do the eye back, Mamma? Open Yanam Kitamiska, and I make him nice. Oh, show me to tell me 1,000 a year 45. But me the quote 3,000 a 60. Well, never walk can say, I feel I was say me, what's it 3,000 coming and nothing coming into? $60. Ella, which is $1,000 $15. Into me person say Buska because show we are 45 and about me is 60. I didn't know person me to at the 60 or Abraham me to 45. And rather than say they were saying send 1,000. If you want to do that there you have to show meaning crater. And then you cannot send the money. Open your smoke and tell you, man, Kremiska, Nam to me, the Corgan. Medical Mamma, or sit down organ. What's the meaning to say this? I'm not saying, see, me, yes, coming. Sana, yeah, that's the apartment. I'm family for Grandma. It's like I'm calling no. Ah, because you be our the beer or much of beer. Ghana for Grandma tells them, I said, you know, it's like Ghana for my name. I would okay, it was again. Yeah, you have to feel I feel now back can profile can say we skake can nipa dey call then social when you can open the social we social security okay for ben me mean trouble for crowd dey offer and I want to hear license more okay when na here the hard me cry you know now more dollar you know what dollar open here the we are super we don't know what to bring and the link we bring and what teach them to that crack it was me here license for my test okay and then me was why na thank you sir
Okay, I think at this stage we can thank Kokubachi for the video. Now, what I want us to do is show you what looks like a simple breaking down of transaction, or use that name, use this name. Let me show you how it actually appears to the IRS. They will not see this, but I'm going to show you a set of data. Again, it's real data from a customer. Now, this is what this data looks like. And I have actually called it structured, but I'll show you. If you look at this data, this one here, oh, this was non-structured, so this is structured. Okay, let's have a quick look at structured. But before we look at structured, just bear with me. Let me just pull this up. Screen, so that it will be clear to you. Screenmarker.com. Just bear with me. Let me close this. Where's the screen marker? Oh, it's okay. It's being analyzed. Okay. We'll get to screen marker in a moment. I'm sorry about how slow this is, but it's just my PC wants to make sure that screen marker is perfectly okay. Oh, it's safe. Okay. So where did it go? Great. Here's screen marker. Okay, great. So let's have a look at the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, great. Now, if you look at this data. If you look at it, it looks like data, just ordinary data. But if we say insert pivot tables, and then we say OK. Now, let's see the people in Ghana. And this is just a small set of the data I just want to show you. So these people are all in Ghana. This is again real, but I've just taken a small section. And then these people are in Ghana. But then I'm going to show you the monies. Okay, so Christine Ade received, and I've changed some of these names, 3 transactions. I'm going to change this so you can see how much the sum was. Okay, so just look at these people. Let's just see that who are the people transmitting money to them. So we'll stick remitter here. And then all of a sudden, you'll see some interesting situations. I'm going to put the dates underneath as well. Okay, and then we're going to use red pen. Okay, now let's start with let's go down here. We'll look at this one. Let's start with this one. Mary Esi Nyanjovo, whatever the name is. Now, if you look, 710 at 10:51, $1,000 by Gideon Simmons. But you see, 710, 10:56, 5 minutes later, $1,000 by Patrick Simmons. Then let's now in blue, I'm going to change the color to blue. 7:18, 10:53, $1,000 by Gideon Simmons. But 7:18, 10:59, 6 minutes later, by Patricia Simmons, $1,000. Then 7:18, Veronica Onipa comes in. You see, that was 10:59, so this is 2 minutes later, $1,000. I hope you can see what's going on. This is a game that is about to land people in jail. Let me look at this one. You see, look at this one. Samuel Kweku Jedu. But you see, Agnes Jedu, 4:15 at 15:28. Then, 40 minutes later, 4:15, Comfort Coffee sends 1,000. Now here it was 2,000. That's structuring beyond all reasonable doubt. And it gets worse. Let me see if I can close this off. It's a shame that I can't seem to close this off. Otherwise, I would have used more colors to show you some of the more ridiculous things going on. But you see, all in all, if you look, Gideon Simons, Patricia Simons, Veronica Zika, and elsewhere, the same set of people, if you look at how much they've structured, is actually 21,000. And anybody who structures 2,000, we've got to report it. So can you imagine 21,000? Now people expect that their brother Ghanaian, which is myself, or maybe Nana Menu, or maybe Kwaku Boache, we should not report these things. Unfortunately, we don't work that way. We have families as well. Let me just tell you, this thing that you see here comes about simply on account of what we have said to you before. That when people say, use this name, oh, can you send it from whatever? It's not as simple as that. I can only say to you, don't do it. If you choose to do it, then you're on your own. Let me just explain. For this particular lot, there is much, much, much more. Look at this. See, people sending to Leonard Kissy. Okay, let's just start by saying, look at 4-3. Gideon Simmons sent 1,000 at 11:24. Patricia Simmons sent 1,000 at 11:25. Now, then, if we look at 6, well, 6-6. Well, 6-6 was probably not too bad. There was nothing happening on 6-6. But let me just look again. Look at this here. 7-10. That's 1,000 by Veronica Onipa. But 7-10, Gideon Simmons sent. I mean, I urge you to avoid problems for yourselves. Please. I'm going to show you something which came in recently to us. Now that you've seen how the IRS sort their data, I'm going to leave this and show you. Finally, when your audit is over, the IRS will send you this letter, which is the IRS final letter. And this is what the final letter looks like. It says, Dear African Market, during our recent Bank Secrecy Act examination of your name, we identified apparent weaknesses and deficiencies relating to the BSA. And then they send you a long list. And the list says, usually, this is what the list says. On this day, for an amount of this, the person involved in the structuring, and then they tell you what it was. On this day, for this amount, the person involved in the structuring, these are real names, I have deleted the names. On this day, the person involved in the structuring, and they list the names here. And they expect you to answer. Now, one of the, and the list could be longer and longer and longer. This is the final letter from the IRS. And when that happens, usually people call me and want me to forge the letter for them. I cannot, I think you need to understand that is not my style. I tell you things at the training session, and if you implement what I tell you, then you'll be okay. If you don't implement what I tell you, then you won't be okay. And when you receive a letter like this from the IRS asking you questions, then you answer them yourself. You don't expect me to answer them for you. Okay. Now, finally, people think that when it goes wrong and you get a fine from the IRS, it will come to us at Family Link. No, it doesn't. You're running your own business. The IRS are very understanding of the fact that I get to sit behind a computer and see the data. You get to see people. It is very important. It is in your own absolute interest to make sure that you implement what we are telling you. I'm going to show you what happened to somebody in New Jersey, and I hope all of you take this seriously. And After this, I'm showing one more video, and that's it. So you have a look. This is a fencing letter. I've shown it to people. If you have a look, the Financial Enforcement Network today, and it's not that long ago, this is August 28th, 2014. These people, BPI, admitted that its conduct violated the BSA and has consented to a civil penalty of $125,000. Please, 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 unless you are running a scheme I know nothing about, we're not earning that kind of money from these transfers. It is not worth your while. Please, please. Somebody comes to you, particularly structuring. Somebody comes to you, you say 3,000, they say use this name and use the other name and the other name. Please, 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 please. Do not do it. Thank you. The last thing I'm going to do, and I think you deserve it, everybody does, is to show you the other video, the last video on the proper kind of IDs. And ladies and gentlemen, you're done in terms of the training. Thank you. Let me get this other video for you. Oh, sorry. I do apologize. This is Skype. This is the last video, 3 minutes, and you're done, and you can ask me all the questions you want. I wonder what happened. There was here it is. I'm sorry, these are just videos of my son. Okay. I'm sorry about the volume.
Then I me Bobby Dimo, why am I say? Oh, okay. And I didn't Nana Kofi. Oh, Debia, I had a Debia transaction. Maybe I reckon Debia had a met. If this I may did that, then may hand a background me. Oh, my bro, what a system knows. Next time, not may I do no more what they come on. More report to me. Hey, oh, okay. And if you hear me ID, me will make my idea, okay.
State ID or driving license.
Oh, sir. Okay.
If you have your social number with you, also
hey, sir. Okay, and as I say, I didn't know I said it means me the I didn't know. Oh, okay. Oh, this man does. So I change your mama, Matthias, oh, sir. Oh, that's the way they all change him, Matthias. Oh, oh, no problem. Hey.
any all copy me and every does you. Oh. That's a me and the crowd need the old church where Matthias said. Mirahana, my iska or Hanu Match, me buy a hand of the musicaco. Me family de beer higher. And today, may I next week, Messiah. Okay. So, we're nice one, but I do there. Okay.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to all of you. I think we can safely begin the question and answer session, and then we'll pass the day on to Nana Menu for anything else that he's got for you. Okay, well, thank you very much.